This is the afternoon edition of the Weather Xtreme video for Wednesday, the 28th day of March. I'm James Spann. We stay warm for the rest of this week. And what about those rain chances Friday and Saturday? And what about the chance of cool air next week? A lot to talk about, so let's go. Now, let's check some of the Skycam shots around the network. We'll start up north. There's a look at the Skycam coming from Fayette, up in northwest Alabama. Some high clouds, and below that, a few fair weather cumulus clouds. There's the Tuscaloosa Skycam. No high clouds there, but we have that shallow cumulus field. And let's go way down south. There's a look at downtown Mobile, as seen from the battleship USS Alabama. Up at the northern tip of Mobile Bay, the sky down there is mostly sunny. All right, quiet around here today. We have the warm ridge in place. The westerlies are to the north. Temperatures upper 70s and low 80s. Those were captured at 1 o'clock. Most spots should be in the low and mid-80s before the day is over. And around the nation, you can see how the warm air beginning to flex its muscles again. All those pretty chilly up in northern New England. They're not out of the 30s up in parts of Maine. And similar readings up on the Canadian border. But again, for us, it's going to be warm through a pretty good chunk of the weekend. There's the watch warning map. Freeze warning for parts of Michigan. We note a severe thunderstorm watch north of us. That's until 9 o'clock Eastern time tonight. Much of Kentucky, West Virginia, parts of the state of Virginia from around Bowling Green over to Harrisonburg. And main threat over there will be from hail and gusty winds. And there's the convective outlook for the rest of today and tonight. We've got that slight risk around that box, and then another slight risk over parts of Kansas and Missouri. Tomorrow, the standard slight risk for places like Kansas City and Omaha. And on day 3, which is Friday, slight risk around Cincinnati and Louisville and Indianapolis and Columbus, way north of here. All right, this is the rain for the next 5 days, valid through Monday morning at 7 o'clock, and this is suggesting rain amounts of about a quarter to a half inch. And again, we still have some questions as to the timing and the extent of the rain Friday and Saturday, as you'll see. Let's get in there and take a look at the latest data. This is the GFS, the 12Z run, valid at 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. We note a little energy showing up over Louisiana under the ridge, and we just wonder if that might kick up a storm tomorrow afternoon. I think we have to mention that chance, but if they do pop, they should be pretty widely spaced. Highs should be in the low 80s, partly sunny, much like a summer day, except just not as hot. Now, Friday, all of a sudden, the GFS is a little more bullish with rain. It's got a day which suggests a mostly cloudy sky with a pretty good chance of showers and maybe some thunder in there with a little impulse coming through. Previous runs have not looked that wet. We'll check the European. This is valid Friday evening at 7 o'clock, and by golly, it's fairly wet. So now you've got both of these global models in good agreement that we'll need to mention a pretty good chance of showers and storms Friday afternoon and maybe into Friday night. And I think we will probably start to lean that way in the forecast. But Saturday, that's the big question. That's a big day with the Indy race weekend at Barber Motorsports Park. We've got the Tuscaloosa Air Show and the Blue Angels. This is valid at 1 o'clock Saturday afternoon. And again, this is at 500 millibars, about 18 to 20,000 feet up. The core of the westerlies are north of here. Big trough coming into the Pacific Northwest. A little energy over Louisiana. In this run of the GFS would suggest that, yes, there could be some showers around, maybe some thunder, but nothing really organized and nothing really to spoil the day. But the European still looks pretty wet. This is Saturday morning at 7 o'clock, and it's got showers and storms around. But then by Saturday evening at 7 o'clock, it's got the showers mostly out of here. So, you know, it's beginning to look like a setup where we'll mention maybe a decent chance of showers and thunderstorms Friday afternoon, Friday night, maybe ending Saturday morning, with the bulk of Saturday afternoon being dry. Again, we'd like to see a little better consistency before we really hit that idea hard, but that's certainly the ideal that's being reflected on the table. Let's go to Sunday, and that still looks good. Oh, and by the way, well, I forgot to show you this. This is the NAM for Saturday, just to add another bewildering solution. The NAM is bone dry. I mean, it's got nothing Friday and Saturday, just contributing to model madness, but that's kind of an outlier. All right, now let's go to Sunday. This is the GFS Sunday at 1 o'clock. Very dry. The impulse is on by. And I guess you can't rule out the chance of a shower, but it sure looks like the day ought to be fine. Partly sunny, Small chance of any one spot getting wet, and very warm with those thickness values, mid-80s. All right, let's take a look at Monday of next week. Hey, look what's back. You know, it was gone on the OZ run, and now on the 12Z run, it's back. Very deep negative tilt trough coming down across the plain states, and that could be a severe weather setup for parts of the Mid-South Monday and just maybe our part of the world Monday night. And obviously with the inconsistency, you can't hit anything hard here. It's just way too early. Every run's looking different, but cold air coming in behind that. And then Tuesday, deep upper low sets up around Chicago and Madison, Wisconsin, and that is certainly a colder look. We're going to watch that amplitude, but you can see the western ridge and the eastern trough setting up. Down below that, the 540 thickness line that can represent sub-freezing temperatures getting down below the Ohio River. And there's Wednesday, the upper low drifting east, and you can see clearly there's a big trough over the eastern part of the country. And down below that, while the 540 line is still north of us, that might get us down there in frost territory early Wednesday morning of next week. But, the amplitude could be greater, could be less. We've seen a lot of stuff out here, but climatology just suggests a cold snap somewhere out there around that Easter weekend. We just don't know how cold and when. We'll check the end of the forecast, April 13th. Well, that's not cold. That's warm. That's a ridge pumping up over the east, and if that's right, that would be pretty warm and dry. That's it for the Weather Xtreme video today. We'll have notes on the blog. Next video here by 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, and if you are around these parts, or even if you're not, we invite you to watch us on television this evening, ABC 3340 in Birmingham at 4, 5, 6, and 10. Thanks for watching. Have a great evening, and God bless. The first thing you've got to understand, you cannot rely on an outdoor siren. You cannot hear those inside a home, a building, a church. It won't work. You've got to get something inside your house. That's a weather radio or maybe a smartphone app. We work with a company that's developed a wonderful weather radio app for Android phones and iPhones. It knows where you are, and if you're in a tornado warning polygon, you get the warning. And if you're not, you don't. It's an effective device, and it's a great way to be sure you get the warning.